Hello friends, I'm Devali Vedia. I'm a clinical psychologist. I work with Sukoon Psychotherapy Center and I run this awareness program by the name of Sukoon Pledge to Seek Help. Today I'm going to talk about objectification. Objectification of both men and women equally during IVF. There's a huge desire or a pressure in individuals from the society, from the family, from the near and dear ones, and from within to have their child, their own progeny, apna खून. And on the other side, with difficult times, the stress that is coming up on individuals because of the work pressures, the changing lifestyles, change in sleep pattern, changing in eating patterns, then various medications that people take, including oxytocin, which is impacting the female reproductive systems. IVF is becoming one of a very common option because normal pregnancy at times is becoming difficult. Indeed, there is a huge oxytocin and PCOD is becoming hugely linked and thus big time impacting females' pregnancy. And obviously stress is nowhere secondary, and which I'm not obviously talking of now in the lockdown. It has been now a very stable understanding that there is stress in the society and it is increasing day by day in the personal and professional lives. So these sort of things are obviously big reasons that normal pregnancy is becoming difficult and people are choosing IVF. But the process of IVF is such that the sex had for the progeny is so much mechanically defined that both the individuals choose to objectify themselves in the process. I'm not over here saying that one should not do it. I'm not recommending that. I'm just bringing this viewpoint because there's a lot of distress which individual goes through in the process of IVF, which needs to be acknowledged. And then evaluated if it is worth it or not. And obviously the answer would be different for different people. So I'm not seeking answers over here. I'm just bringing it out into the discussion forum. Because interestingly, there is a huge discussion on one side that sex should not objectify the other individual. जो हम रेप की बात करते हैं या हम अदरवाइज कहते हैं कि लड़के बदतमीजी करते हैं, अब्यूज करते हैं, ये सबसे ज़्यादा कॉमन वर्ड्स हैं, इसलिए मैं लड़के की ही बात कर रही हूँ क्योंकि ये सोसाइटी में इतनी हम बड़ी तरह डिस्कस कर रहे हैं कि ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है. पर अगर दूसरी तरफ हम इस चीज़ को नॉर्मलाइज करते हैं कि यहाँ पे एक्चुअली it is about the objectification of both the beings. Out of choice हम खुद को एक ऑब्जेक्ट बनाने के लिए तैयार हैं. And interestingly, when we talk of IVF, females are usually angry with the husbands when they don't equivalently involve into it. They are not distressed that they have to go through it. They are angry with the partner that, why can't they make it happen? But men do come up with a voice where they talk about how they don't want to maybe do this. Indeed, I'm reminded of the movie Good News for obvious reasons. And in that movie, I would like to point out certain things. Akshay is shown to be a person who is in a way insensitive, bad, not a good husband, not a caring husband, and not bothered about the child. There are various points where they show that Kareena gets angry with him because he's not being sensitive enough. Whereas on the other side, Diljit is, I hope I'm using the names correctly. But that's very interesting because as a female, I really felt that as a partner, as an individual, I would see Akshay as less objectifying Kareena, his wife, in that movie than what Diljit was doing. He wanted Kareena with him not because she would give him the progeny, but wanted her because of his attachment towards her. That was expressed right in the beginning when she gets angry right in the beginning where she gets angry and she says, I'm leaving. And I'll go home, I'll leave if you don't listen to me. Then in the movie process, he did talk about the concept that being a female, she has all the right over her body to decide if she wants to keep the pregnancy or not keep the pregnancy. Although when she decided not to abort, he got angry and he was frustrated with that scenario, but he didn't push her into anything. He was showing his interest into it, his fears into it, but it was not like, I hold you back and I want you there. That's how it is. Whereas on the other side, if you see the role of Diljit, interestingly, when there was a communication between Kaira and Kareena, at one stage, Kaira said that, my husband Diljit is more concerned about you than me, and that comes from the fact that you are the one who is holding his baby, and not me. So he is more connected with the one who would give the progeny. You are the object of his satisfaction. He was not attached to Kareena because of his love and affection. She was the object of his progeny. Whereas throughout the process, Akshay was disconnected with Kaira and not at all interested in the baby. When he saw the baby, there was a huge emotional connect that formed and that bond that connected. And there was some sensitivity which was formed, where he even got more sensitive towards the scenario of what his wife was going through. So in the whole process, if you see the objectification part, indeed Karina objectifies Akshay and calls him back home and wanted him to have sex when he was not ready to have sex. In a way, a pressurized sex which she had with Akshay only to produce the progeny, the baby. And so she was objectifying Akshay. Diljit was objectifying both the females, whereas Akshay in a way was not objectifying any of them. So IVF is a process where actually humans are being objectified. And I am talking about this not to discourage the idea that we need not go into IVF, but understand one thing, that if we say rape is bad, sexual abuse is bad, sexual molestation, sexual objectification of females is bad, what is happening over here? It's only different as it cannot be called rape because we choose to get objectified. We choose to become the object of others' pleasure and produce a progeny. And if we normalize this, how is it any different from any man objectifying female to get his pleasures? And that's the reason. It is actually normalized. That's the reason we don't talk about rape in marital life. मैरिज के बाद में सेक्स रेप नहीं कहलाता. It's as simple as that. After marriage, we are supposed to become the object of others' pleasure and the object to produce the progeny. That's what seems like what the society is saying. I would love to hear comments on it. Please do write in the comments whatever you think about it. And let's bring this discussion to the common public.